They say every land has a story, but some stories were buried beneath oil and silence. Before the pipelines and protests, before Ken Saro-Wiwa's cry shook the world, there was a kingdom, a people proud, ancient, and deeply rooted in the heart of the Niger Delta. This is the story of the Ogoni Kingdom, a land born not from conquest, but from unity, migration, and survival. Long before colonial maps and British flags, the Niger Delta was a world of its own. Thick mangrove forests, slow rivers, and fertile lands, whispering with the songs of spirits. Amid these lands lived the ancestors of the Ogoni, a group of clans who migrated centuries ago, guided by dreams, traditions, and the search for peace. Oral history tells us that the Ogoni people came from across the Imo River, possibly from the region of the ancient Ghana or the Middle Benue. Some say they were part of a great migration, groups seeking refuge from wars, others escaping expansion from neighboring empires. Whatever the origin, one thing is clear. When they arrived, they found a land that spoke to their spirits. They called it Kana, meaning home. The Ogoni didn't rise from a single tribe. They were a confederation of 6 major kingdoms: the Kana, Gokana, Tai, Eleme, Andoni, and Oyibo. Each had its own ruler, culture, and dialects. Yet they were bound by something greater, their shared respect for the land. The Ogoni believed the earth was sacred, not just soil, but life itself. Every tree, every stream, every mud had meaning. They built societies around balance between man, nature, and the spirits. And at the heart of its balance stood their traditional governance, the council of elders, wise men chosen not for wealth, but for wisdom. By the 15th century, the Ogoni Kingdom had become one of the most organized communities in Niger Delta. They mastered agriculture, growing yam, cassava, and plantain on the fertile Delta soil. They built trade routes that reached their Ijaw, Andoni, and Igbo neighbors. They practiced arts, music, and festivals that celebrated peace and harvest, especially the Nabira Day festival, which honored the earth goddess. But what really made the Ogoni stand out was their independence. While many Delta groups fell under external rule, the Ogoni resisted domination, even from the powerful Benin and Aro empires. They were a people who chose community over conquest and culture over chaos. Then came the strangers. First, the explorers, then the missionaries, and finally, the colonizers. In the 19th century, the British arrived, bringing treaties, religion, and control. They withdrew boundaries, merging Ogoni lands into the Greater Niger Delta Protectorate, ignoring the traditional systems they had held for centuries. The Ogoni Kingdom's autonomy was slowly stripped away, but the people remembered. They held on to their language, their songs, their festivals, and their pride, even as the oil was discovered beneath their sacred soil in the 1950s. The Ogoni spirit refused to fade. Oil brought wealth, but not to them. It brought pipelines, pollution, and pain. The rivers that once fed their children turned black with crude. The farmlands that once bloomed turned to dust. And from that pain rose a voice. A son of Ogoni, Ken Saro-Wiwa, reignited the flames of the ancestors. Through his words and courage, he reminded the world that the Ogoni were not a forgotten people, that beneath the oil lay a kingdom, ancient, proud, and deserving of justice. Today, the Ogoni Kingdom stands as both a warning and a symbol. A warning of what happens when greed meets silence, and a symbol of what happens when people refuse to be erased. Because kingdoms are not just built with walls and crowns, they are built with stories, stories that refuse to die. And as long as the wind whispers through the creeks of the Delta, the story of the Ogoni Kingdom will live on. Welcome to the Free Horizon, where Africans' forgotten histories are reborn, one story at a time. If this is your first time coming across my video, do well to subscribe, follow, like and share, comment for more Untold African histories. Then if there are histories or stories you want me to talk about, do not fail to list them in the comment section, and I will talk about it. See you in my next video.